Bitcoin looks like it started its correction. It moved more than $1,000 to the downside, and we're probably going to see it test $19,000 over the coming weeks. And today we're going to look at the technical reasons of why. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's dive straight into Bitcoin. We're going to focus on two main things today: momentum. We're going to talk about that. That's really, really insightful information, and really pattern position. And markets tend to move in fives and threes. What we see in Bitcoin recently is we had this move up, we had some type of correction, and it looks like it's done a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The momentum, I've simplified it in this dashboard. I've had it programmed. There's thousands of momentum indicators, but it just helps us measure the movement, the rhythm of the markets, and it can give us valuable insights. And it tells us the weekly, the bigger trend is overbought. So it's basically the upside is limited, the immediate momentum is bearish, and we should consider short positions, which means making money on the way down, or at least taking some profits if you've been long, just to make sure, because we're likely to see some type of correction. So what we're going to move into next is pattern position. And by the way, if you like the look of this dashboard and you want to test it out, you can now actually test it out for £1, 30 days. We've built it with all the training and everything else. Really, really powerful tool to add on top of what you're already using. I like to use it in conjunction with pattern and price. It's really, really powerful. So what other pattern positions gives us a clue over here? Now, when the market is moving up, it's something called higher highs and higher lows. So this is a high, and these are higher highs with higher lows, and there's not overlapping waves. Whereas this movement to the downside here, this last 24 hours or so, is the biggest move to the downside that we've had in this whole sequence. Now that, from a pattern perspective, is called a pattern reversal signal, also known as an overbalance of price. In other words, the biggest selling behavior that we've had in this whole sequence. So that just tells us we're likely to see a continuation to the downside. It's some type of correction is due. The other thing we're going to be on high alert for is this move up and then down. There's something called a price overlap. I've taken a closing price, and if Bitcoin goes below this point over here, then it's likely that these lows are then going to get exceeded. So we can use objective information just to look at buying and selling behavior that can really, really help. Last thing I want to cover is how long is the correction likely to last? Keeping in mind that the weekly momentum is overbought. If we look at the former correction, how long it took, is more than likely going to be at least the same length of time, if not longer. So what we're going to do is two things. I'm just going to go over some price and time targets. So let's just measure that amount of time. Just going to click here to here, and we're going to project it from here. So this tells us probably going to be sideways to down, maybe until early February. So maybe even 2-3 weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. Price targets, the absolute minimum expectation is going to be the $19,600 mark. We're likely to see it retest $19,000. These are just typical Fibonacci correction levels. But if we do overlap this range over here, that's going to be a bad sign for Bitcoin, where this high is likely to hold, and we're probably going to see a deeper movement to the downside and beyond the correction. But the minimum expectations is some type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably some type of pullback, another 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5 on the downside. But if this point, this point here, $18,255, it's a significant point, because it's something called a price overlap or a wave overlap. And when it comes to buying and selling behavior, in bullish market conditions, the price should not overlap into this wave structure. If it does, it's likely Bitcoin's going to go below $16,000 and maybe even below that as well. But we don't need to know that information yet. There's no way of knowing. What we just really want to focus on is over the immediate days, we're likely to see some type of movement to the downside, especially that we've had this big movement to the downside, overbalance of price. That will probably mean we're going to have a continuation. So again, momentum, double time frame momentum. We got pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are some Fibonacci price levels as well. So just be mindful that we're probably going to see sideways to down over the next coming days and possibly early Feb, first week of Feb. So check out the trend identifier. This will take your trading to the next level. Really, really powerful tool. We made it £1 30 days, so you can really test it out. If you like it, then you just keep it, and it's $9.97 thereafter per month. So the trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. Let's finish on another quote from my book. We're going to go with chapter 3 today. It is Confucius. Because look, everything in life is always difficult before it's easy. It's always practice, repetition, whether you're driving a car or you're learning how to use momentum cycles and get familiar with these type of tools. But what Confucius said is, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop.